Did you know that Japan has the highest number of people over 100 years old per capita? Over 90,000 citizens living beyond their 100th birthday? While many in the West invest heavily in gyms and fitness fads, older adults in Japan, well into their 70s and 80s, are quietly living longer and healthier lives than most of the world. What truly surprised researchers from Harvard Medical School during a 5-year study of these long-lived individuals wasn't just what they ate or their genetics. The real secret was something much simpler. 6 daily movements, so subtle that many doctors in the West initially ignored them. These aren't traditional workouts or complex exercises. In fact, they seem so basic that early observers considered them unimportant, until advanced brain scans told a different story. Japanese seniors who practiced these movements daily showed significantly slower mental decline, up to 40% less than their Western peers. Their joints stayed limber, and their sense of balance remained strong, often rivaling people 2 decades younger. Scientists at Stanford University called it one of the most underappreciated keys to healthy aging. You're about to learn all 6 of these simple movements, starting with the most basic and gradually moving to the most impactful. But be ready for the first one. This single movement, studied in a group of 15,000 Japanese seniors, was linked to an average increase in lifespan of 7 years. Yet almost no one in America even knows about it. It only takes 2 minutes, needs no equipment, and, according to neuroscientists, activates more areas of the brain at once than any other physical movement they've tested. Before we dive in, go ahead and share your age and location in the comments. We're reading every response. Now, let's begin with movement number 6. Don't be fooled by its simplicity. This is the core routine that forms the foundation of daily life for many long-living Japanese elders. Let's begin with something that may seem too easy to be effective, but in Japan, it's regarded as a vital daily ritual. Sampo isn't your typical walk. It's a slow, purposeful form of movement, roughly half the pace of your regular walking speed. Many older adults in Japan practice this early in the day, usually before breakfast, for 20 to 30 minutes. Unlike brisk walking in the West, this method emphasizes calm, controlled movement paired with specific breathing. The breathing technique follows a pattern. Inhale during 2 steps, hold your breath for 2 more steps, then exhale over the next 4. This creates a steady rhythm that helps align the heart, lungs, and nervous system in a unique way that faster walking doesn't. A decade-long study conducted in 2019 by Kyoto University followed over 3,000 adults over 60. The group that practiced daily Sampo had 62% less hardening of the arteries compared to those who didn't. On average, their blood pressure also dropped by 12 points systolic and 8 points diastolic. But the most fascinating part? The slow pace allows your foot to fully connect with the ground, activating all 33 joints in each foot. This sends important sensory signals to the brain that improve your coordination and sense of balance. In one study, older adults in the West who added Sampo to their routine for just 8 weeks increased their ability to stand on one leg by 45 seconds on average. To practice correctly, focus on the way your feet move. Begin each step on your heel, roll through the center of the foot, and finish by pushing off with your toes. Keep your eyes looking about 6 feet ahead, not at the ground, and let your arms move gently at your sides with relaxed hands. The breathing takes practice, so it helps to count your steps in the beginning to stay in rhythm. Mornings are ideal as cortisol levels are naturally higher, which enhances the calming effects of this practice. Avoid using a treadmill for this. Moving belts interfere with the natural mechanics of your feet. Try walking on varied surfaces when possible, like grass or dirt paths. Research from the University of Tokyo found that seniors who walked on natural terrain had 20% better joint mobility compared to those walking only on concrete. If you're just starting, begin with 10 minutes and slowly work up to 30 over a few weeks. Up next, a movement that helps rebuild strength and stability, starting from your feet and moving upward. Each morning at exactly 6:30 a.m., a soft piano tune plays across Japan's national radio and TV stations. It marks the beginning of Radio Taiso, a gentle stretching routine that millions have followed daily since 1928. But don't confuse this with typical Western workouts. This isn't about pushing your limits or breaking a sweat. It's a smooth, flowing series of 13 stretches designed to be completed in just over 3 minutes. Specifically, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. The movements are continuous and fluid, with no holding or straining. It's all about motion, balance, and gentle engagement of the whole body. A study from Osaka Medical College observed over 8,000 people aged 60 and older. Those who practiced radio taiso each day had 40% fewer falls, reported 55% less chronic back pain, and kept near full mobility in their hips and shoulders well into their later years. What's behind this impressive impact? The science points to something called synovial fluid, your joint's natural lubricant. These flowing stretches increase its production by up to 30%, keeping your joints moving smoothly. Without daily motion, this fluid thickens and diminishes, leading to the stiffness that's often mistaken for normal aging. The routine begins with overhead arm lifts that open the chest and encourage deep breathing. As you inhale, you slowly raise your arms. On the exhale, you lower them back down. This is followed by shoulder rotations to keep joints supple, and gentle trunk twists to maintain flexibility through the spine. Side bends help stretch the muscles between your ribs, promoting better breathing and torso mobility. Lower body movements include slow, rhythmic marching and shallow squats. These help maintain strength and flexibility in the knees and hips without placing stress on the joints. Throughout the routine, the steady pace gently increases heart rate and promotes healthy blood flow, all without causing fatigue. To get the best results, timing is important. Many older adults in Japan perform this routine first thing in the morning, before breakfast, and even before their first glass of water. That's because growth hormone levels, which support muscle and tissue recovery, peak during sleep and remain elevated just after waking. Stretching during this window enhances the effects. The key is to move smoothly and mindfully, as if you're gliding through warm water. There's no need to force anything or bounce. If the full sequence feels too much, even just doing the arm raises and twists can offer noticeable benefits with minimal effort. Radio taiso is still practiced in many Japanese workplaces before the day begins. In fact, companies that promote this daily routine report 30% fewer sick days among employees compared to those that don't. Now, let's move on to a movement that's just as powerful for your brain as it is for your body. In many parks and gardens across Japan, it's common to see older adults resting comfortably in a deep squat. Heels flat, knees bent fully, back relaxed. They might chat with friends, tend to plants, or simply take a break in this posture. What's remarkable is how long they can hold it, sometimes 20 or 30 minutes, without any apparent discomfort. In contrast, many people in Western countries, especially over the age of 60, struggle to maintain this position for even 10 seconds. This ability isn't just a sign of flexibility. It reflects a preserved, natural movement that many modern cultures have lost due to excessive chair use. In Japan, seniors keep this ability well into old age by squatting daily, often adding up to 20 to 30 minutes throughout the day, naturally integrated into their routines. A long-term study by researchers in Tokyo, which tracked 5,000 older adults over 12 years, found that those who could hold a deep squat for at least 2 minutes were 70% less likely to need assisted living later in life. Their hip mobility stayed intact, helping them perform everyday tasks without support, and on average, they remained independent 9 years longer than peers who couldn't squat. The benefits go beyond mobility. The deep squat posture fully engages the hip joint, preventing the tightness that often leads to the shuffling gait seen in the elderly. It also supports ankle flexibility, which is vital for balance, and strengthens muscles in the pelvic floor, important for bladder control. Perhaps most significantly, this position helps decompress the spine, allowing fluid to nourish the discs between vertebrae and reducing the risk of chronic pain. Research from Harvard has shown that societies where deep squatting remains part of daily life experience far fewer hip surgeries and cases of chronic lower back pain, by as much as 80% and 60%, respectively. To rebuild this skill, begin with supported squats. Use a wall for balance. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart and toes slightly outward. Slowly lower yourself, letting your knees follow the line of your toes. If your heels don't reach the floor, place a rolled towel underneath. Start with 30-second holds and gradually increase over time. The goal isn't long holds, but frequent practice. Doing 5 short squats throughout the day is more effective than one long one. In Japan, older adults often squat while doing everyday tasks, waiting for public transportation, gardening, or watching TV. It's not a separate workout, it's just part of life. You can do the same. Organize items on low shelves while squatting, tie your shoes from this position, or play with children from a squat. Each time you do, you reinforce the movement and preserve your ability to move freely and independently. It might seem unusual at first, but in Japan, standing on one leg is actually a commonly recommended health practice, similar to how medications are prescribed in the West. Particularly for those over the age of 60, physicians encourage standing on one leg for 1 minute, twice a day, as a form of preventive care. The science supporting this is so strong that it's even covered by Japanese health insurance. A long-term study conducted by Fukuoka University followed 12,000 older adults over 15 years. The results were striking. Those who regularly practiced this simple balancing technique experienced 68% fewer hip fractures and 75% fewer falls that required hospitalization. Brain imaging also revealed growth in gray matter within the motor cortex and cerebellum, regions essential for movement, coordination, and balance. The act of standing on one leg activates thousands of micro-adjustments in the body every minute to maintain stability. These subtle movements engage the entire neuromuscular system, not just the muscles. Proprioceptors, sensory receptors that help the brain understand body position, become more responsive. The vestibular system in the inner ear, responsible for detecting motion and orientation, becomes more finely tuned. Visual processing also improves, as the brain becomes better at integrating input from multiple systems to maintain balance. Getting started is simple. Begin by standing near a wall or a sturdy chair for safety. Lift one foot just an inch or two off the ground, and focus your gaze on a fixed point around 10 feet away. Breathe normally and aim to hold the position for 30 seconds. Then switch legs and repeat. As balance improves, closing the eyes can add difficulty by removing visual cues, making the brain rely more on the body's internal sensors. Many older adults in Japan integrate this practice into their daily routine, often while brushing their teeth, turning it into a consistent, automatic habit that requires no extra time commitment. Once basic balance becomes easier, additional movements can be added to increase complexity. For example, slowly turning the head from side to side, raising the arms overhead, or making small circular motions with the raised foot, all of which challenge different elements of coordination. Progressive difficulty is key to ongoing benefits. If holding for 30 seconds becomes easy, increase to 45 or 60 seconds. Once balancing with eyes closed feels manageable, try standing on a soft or unstable surface, like a folded towel. This keeps the brain adapting and prevents progress from stalling, helping maintain neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire and form new connections. Interestingly, research from the Mayo Clinic has shown that the ability to balance on one leg is a more accurate indicator of longevity than some traditional health markers like blood pressure or cholesterol. Among those over 60, being able to maintain this position for just 30 seconds is linked to a significantly lower risk of early death, similar to someone a decade younger. What seems like a simple movement holds powerful benefits for both the body and the brain, making it a surprisingly effective tool for aging well. 2. Floor sitting and transitioning. One of the most surprising aspects of aging in Japan is how commonly older adults continue to transition between standing and sitting on the floor multiple times a day, often over 20 times. Whether they're eating meals, enjoying tea, watching TV, or engaging in conversation, sitting on the floor remains an integral part of daily life. Each transition from standing to floor sitting and back up again is a complex, full-body movement that trains strength, balance, coordination, and flexibility in a way few traditional exercises can match. A large-scale study by the University of Tsukuba followed 10,000 older adults and found significant differences between those who regularly sat on the floor and those who used only chairs. The floor sitters had notably stronger lower bodies, with 40% more leg strength and 50% better hip flexibility. Even into their 90s, many were still able to rise from the floor without assistance. But what stood out most was their cognitive performance. They consistently scored about 15% higher on mental function tests. Researchers linked this to the mental demands of floor transitions, which engage the brain's executive control center. Navigating the movement requires coordination, balance, sequencing, strength regulation, and spatial awareness, all activated at once. It's not just physical, it's a full body, full brain task disguised as an everyday habit. The traditional method begins from a standing position with feet together. One knee is gently lowered to the ground, followed by the other, bringing the person into a kneeling posture. From there, they might sit cross-legged, side-sitting, or in a seiza kneeling position. To return to standing, one foot steps forward into a lunge, and the person pushes through that leg to rise, finishing by bringing the other foot up to stand fully. While the process sounds simple, it demands strength, control, and mobility. For those unaccustomed to this, supported practice is helpful. A low stool or ottoman can act as a transitional aid. Hands can be used for balance while descending into a kneeling position, then gradually removed as strength and control improve. Practicing on a soft surface like a mat or carpet can ease pressure on the knees and make learning safer. Frequency is more important than perfection. Even a few transitions per day can produce meaningful improvements. In Japan, this isn't seen as formal exercise. It's simply part of how people live, and many retain this ability throughout life because they never stop doing it. For those picking it up later, patience is key. Progress might be slow, but with consistency, the benefits are profound. Notably, the ability to get up from the floor without using the hands has been strongly linked to longer lifespan. A Brazilian study found that individuals who could do this lived, on average, 6 years longer than those who couldn't. This simple movement, performed daily, can serve as a powerful indicator of both physical capability and overall longevity. One simple Japanese movement called towel twist, or tenyuabi hibiki, has gained attention for its powerful impact on aging and overall health. It involves holding a hand towel with tension and rotating the torso, engaging deep stabilizing muscles and promoting balance, coordination, and brain activity. Studies found that just 2 minutes a day can improve longevity, grip strength, cognitive function, and reduce inflammation. This low-impact, equipment-free exercise is scalable for all ages and can be done morning and night for maximum benefits. Rooted in tradition but backed by modern science, it's a simple yet transformative habit for aging well.